Are you jittery? You are a little bit jittery, but we're broadcasting now, so it's too late.
Well, maybe I can fix it on my end.
Just don't break anything.
I'm making no promises. Oh no, I can't do anything. Actually, it's on. Nope, it's doing the thing. It should be fine. I don't know.
YouTube appears to be having a moment.
Hissy.
Yeah. Let me just refresh that page, see if that comes through.
That's the usual though.
Yeah, YouTube's fine now. We're good. We are good. We're all good. Everything seems to be functioning. Everything is awesome. Hey. Good day, everybody. I'm Suffolk Graham.
I'm Zabermoul.
Welcome to episode 230 of the Randos podcast. Hope you're all well. And hope you're good. So how are you, Zaber?
I'm awesome, dude.
Good.
I'm awesome. Just went to the barber shop, got a trim, got a haircut, looking all fine. Oh yeah.
You're looking very dapper, Zaber. You're looking very, very dapper.
Yes.
So.
And I have my official 2023 CopenHell t-shirt on. Oh yeah.
For the uninitiated, what is CopenHell?
CopenHell, that's like the biggest Danish heavy metal festival. So it's in Copenhagen, and therefore the CopenHell.
All right.
It's awesome. It's huge. It's like 4 days. I can't remember how many bands, but they play from like noon till like, I don't know, midnight-ish, 1 o'clock in the morning, for 4 days straight.
Oh bloody hell! So
and there's four what is it called, scenes? Yeah, 4 scenes where they play.
Stages, you mean, like sort of stages type thing?
That's what it's called. We call it a scene. That's why
I like that. I like that name. That's quite cool.
Danish man, broken language, you know.
Yeah, well, we can't expect you to sort of have. I mean, to be honest, though, Zay, but you speak better English than most of us, so.
I don't. I really don't. Well, no,
you really do.
Well, okay, so let me put it this way: I probably speak all right English, but I speak better English than I do Danish.
You see, the thing is, I have no idea what good or bad Danish sounds like, so you could say anything, and I'll just assume it's good.
Oh yeah. I could totally be just saying the worst of things, and you would be like, "Oh, he's so nice."
Oh, he's so friendly. Yeah, sometimes yeah. Fuck off, Ram. You're fucking twat.
Nah, I would never do that. I'd never do that.
Not without warning, anyway.
No, not without warning. True.
So I mean, Denmark isn't the biggest country in the world. So we say it's the biggest one. Denmark is there like, like 6 people there, or
what? Come again?
CopenHell. So like, a dozen people go there, and
yeah, it's about 30,000 people comes to that. Yeah, it's huge, dude.
Isn't Denmark like a bit like sort of? I think that's sort of like Norway. It's got a very like disproportionate amount of heavy metal bands compared to the population compared to everybody else. It's like insanely popular over there. Is that?
Yes, I think we have a lot of metal in Denmark, but we have a lot of other things too. But yeah, I think even like metal productions in Denmark is huge. Like some of the studios, we bring in bands from all over the world to record here. I think we have some of the top-notch producers in terms of metal in Denmark. I know there's like a ton of them around the world that's pretty good, but we have like more than one. Like we have probably 3 or 4 really huge studios that do metal in Denmark. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic! So, was there anything exciting you saw? Any particular bands you like? Did you just like go to see whatever? Was there any bands you saw looking for specifically?
Oh no! I had like a big checklist. Like I need to see this, need to see this, need to see this. There was like 3 bands that I specifically came like that was like the top 3. And number 1 on that was a band called Architects. I believe they're British, to be honest. I could be mistaken, but I think they are. They are huge, and unfortunately, the day that they had to play, it rained a hell of a lot. Even so much that the rain was going on to the stage, and they had to cancel, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they've got lots
It's
of like big like amplifiers there and stuff with high voltage electricity. It's nothing dangerous. It's fine.
no. But the thing is though, like a lot of that stuff is shielded out there under tents and whatnot. But on stage, a band like Architects, they have a lot of high tech gear, computers and stuff like that for backtracking and stuff. So if that gets wet, they're screwed. So they had to cancel.
That's a
So that was
shame.
like the top of my list. And then we had a band called Spirit Box. Awesome band, very like modern metal, catchy songs with like huge drops as we call them, like where it just goes nuts. And then the third band was a band called Sleep Token. I believe they are from the UK as well.
I will put links to I'll put links to all these bands in the show notes for people to look at.
Oh, cool.
Say
I
Sleep
think
Token.
out of Sleep Token, yeah. I think out of them three, like the most versatile of them would probably be Sleep Token, because they mix in like these electronic elements, so it's like very pop like, but then some of the all of a sudden they just switch within like halfway through the song, it just goes full on metal. It's really really cool what they do, but they wear masks. No one knows who they are.
A bit like Lordy.
Probably
Oh,
Lordy.
they
I don't know who
they won
Lordy is.
Eurovision a few years ago, and they all
Oh
wear
yeah,
masks.
I know who they are now. Yeah, 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 something like that. Yeah. But yeah, they're really really cool. I got to see Pantera over there. Really really old band. I used to listen to them when I was a teenager. Insanely cool to watch them live. And Guns N' Roses played.
Really? I would say
Guns N' Roses.
I would consider Guns N' Roses a metal band personally.
No, but they're huge, and they're. Yeah, well, there are bands that come to CopenHell that I wouldn't necessarily categorize as a heavy metal band.
Next year,
but
Spice Girls.
exactly. There was actually a band there called I don't know how to word it, because in Danish it's skyn, so it's SKYND. I can't remember what. Yeah, but they're not a Danish band, but it's a Danish word. But they were playing there, and they didn't have a guitar. Like it was just a bass player, and then a lot of like electronical stuff in the background. But the lead singer, she was singing about like tragic things like mass murderers and stuff like that. That they named their songs from these people, like Ted Bundy or whatever it would be. And then their songs is about that type of stuff. And even though it's not metal, it worked really well for the setting.
I like the fact. I like the fact you said they did have a guitar there. They just had a bass.
They didn't. They didn't have a guitar. They didn't have no guitar, just a bass. I know it's a bass guitar.
Isn't a bass a kind of guitar?
No, it's not. So what I have behind me here, God damn it, this whole mirrored thing. Those are guitars. A bass. They work on other frequencies.
Yeah, you probably offended quite a lot of people now, but oh well, no worries.
Nah. People can't be that anal.
The only guitar, I was gonna say the only guitar I ever played was a bass guitar, but obviously I can't say that. The only device I play is a bass now.
Yeah, well, it is called a bass guitar, but it's because it's a bass guitar.
But it's not a guitar. It's called a bass guitar, but it's not a guitar.
No, it's not. It's a bass.
Oh dear.
Someone got it wrong. Someone got it wrong when they had to name these things.
Oh, let the flame wars begin.
Yes. And we will bask in all the...
Zaber gets cancelled after just 2 podcasts.
That wouldn't be the first time. Hey, I did just cut that. We're not live, right?
Note to Nick, right? Don't cut anything.
Good. But yeah, an awesome show. I'm still planning on going next year. I went with 2 friends. One of them, his family had they have boats, like I would say 3 or 4 minutes away from the entrance to the festival. So we slept on the boat, ate on the boat, stuff like that, and then we just went up there and had fun. And when everything was done, 3 minutes later, we were on the boat. Everyone else had to walk for like an hour and a half to get to where they had their tents and shit. But yeah.
Nice.
So fingers crossed we'll be able to do that again next year.
Is it expensive? Yes.
It's about 2,700 Danish, which is about roughly, someone else out there that's really smart and quick with their head can do the math, but around 300 quid for so that's UK pounds, yeah. So about 300 pounds for a ticket, and then I think we spent nearly 500 pounds on beer and food on those 4 days.
I mean, you say if it's £300 for a 4-day ticket, that's not actually that bad.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's actually
4 days worth of
Right.
festival. That's a pretty. I would say it's that. I mean, if you had said £1,000, I'd have, £1,000 equivalent, I would have believed you.
I think maybe it's more like 330 or 340 quid, but it's around there.
According to Google, it's £315.82.
There you go.
You weren't far off with your £300.
No, I wasn't. Ha.
So.
But yeah, but it's around there, and then I think I spent around 4,500. You can do the calculation again, but about 4,500 Danish on food and beer.
£526.37.
How much?
£526.37. Let's call it £526. Let's not worry about the pennies at this stage. That's that's a lot of food.
Well, 3 meals a day at about 10, 12 quid per meal. That it adds up, and then beer. I must add though that we had beer with us on the boat as well. We brought beer from home. We had I think 3 cases of 24 beer, something like that per case. We had alcohol as well, like gin and stuff like that. And the friend whose family had the boats, he brought champagne as well. So yeah.
You must have been quite fun on the drinking to go over all that sort of stuff going on then.
Oh yeah. I mean, the one problem I always have when I'm not at home is I wake up too soon in the morning. The other guys, they woke up at about 10 a.m. Yeah, I woke up at about 5:30 or 6 a.m. And couldn't sleep no more.
Yeah.
And then I would go out on the deck on the ship and be lying there and be like, oh no, I got hangovers. And wait until the other guys. It was so stupid. I should have just fucking opened the beer and kept going, because that's what's happening when the other guys wake up. It's like, let's have a sandwich or something and then crack up a beer. Fucking open a beer and just have it.
You need to do the British method, which is a big fry up is what you need to do.
We can't do that on the boat though.
You've not got cooking facilities?
Yeah, but it's like a stove with
Trust me, you can do. I mean, you've got the famous Danish bacon. You can do bacon and eggs anywhere. Come on.
So our friend that whose family had the boat. Well, no one knows who he is. So Daniel, whose family had the boat, he's actually a cook, and has been a cook for many years. So he had made these. like it was like toast with like 2 or 3 different types of cheese in it, and 2 different types of ham in it as well. And then he cut off all the I don't know what the crust.
Yeah.
And then he made them on the pan with like real butter and a hell of a lot of it.
Oh.
It was drenching with butter when it was done, but it was so good.
That's a sawmill that you can feel your heart starting to give out afterwards.
Oh yeah, but it was all worth it, dude. It was all worth it.
It was all worth it. Yeah, as he's lying in hospital with alcohol poisoning and a heart attack, it was worth it.
It's like, and one of them fucking sandwiches in my hand be like, oh, I'm almost, but it's worth it. Nom nom nom. Oh.
Oh, why do I deserve this? This is only giving me more pain. Nom nom nom.
Yeah.
Oh. So it sounds cool. It sounds cool. It's like a cool festival.
It is. The cool thing is, the place is huge. There's so many different types of food you can get there. Like even the food is a huge experience there. People are so nice there. This is the first time I went to any festival ever. But for me, this was completely huge. But from what I hear from everyone that's been there for years, no one ever, like, people say that they've never seen a fight there break out. Everyone's always been happy there.
In my experience,
so that's cool.
People who are in sort of metal are pretty chill, in my experience.
Oh yeah. Because we get all our aggression out by listening to the music.
Yeah, exactly. You're too tired. You're too, after sort of moshing for an hour, you're too tired to start a fight.
Dude, fucking people that listen to metal, they're the most zen of people, dude.
Yeah, they are. I must admit, I do this like a bit of metal.
Yeah, everyone could do with a bit of metal. But I like opera. Shut the fuck up and listen to some metal, dude.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, the other thing I've got to ask, in terms of things, you talked last time that you were going to take in your daughter to go see Five Nights at Freddy. Did that happen?
Yes, it did.
So,
last time I had ordered the tickets.
So you, from what I remember, you know nothing. You know of the series, but don't know really anything about the background and stuff. And so, is that correct?
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what was it like? So your daughter's not here, so you can say your true feelings.
Oh, I've already said my true feelings to my daughter, because that's the dad I am.
Yeah, because obviously from your point of view, it's just a horror film, isn't it? It's not like it's only the game; it's just a horror film.
No, it wasn't. No, I wouldn't even go. No. So the thing is, it wasn't a horror film. Not for for people like me. I've grown up with fucking horror movies since I was like 7 years old. I'm used to watching horror movies. This was a very sugar-coated horror movie. I would go as far as this is a new category. I call it children's horrors.
It is meant to be kid-friendly, to be fair. So
it's very, very kid-friendly. So there's one of those
animatronics
thingies. Yeah, animatronics that has this little round head that he carries around. That one, spoilers. So if you don't want to, just mute the sound for the next 10 seconds, yeah? All right, so we got that out of the way. So I'm just going to be sat here for 10 seconds without saying anything. So when they unmute, I'm going to spoil shit for them anyways.
That's all right. It's their fault. It's their fault for listening to the podcast. It's their fault.
So. That's so evil. No, but so, it's off on its own. It flies towards someone's head and goes nom nom. We see it from very far away. You can't see what the fuck goes on. You have an idea that he's being nommed in the face, but you don't see anything. You don't see any of the gory bits or anything like that. Even the first, like the had this been a Saw movie, which is clearly not, but had it been a Saw movie, you would have seen everything. You'd have seen his skull, all his insides and his bits and whatnot. I would have really wished for a button that said, I want the adult version of this.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
I mean, to be fair, it's not.
Jump.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's very much saying they're aiming as a kid, so it's not pretending to be an adult film anyway. So, to be fair to it, that's where it sits.
I'll go as far as to say if any adults are out there that has teenage kids like me that are like, oh, I've been hesitant whether or not my kid should watch this movie. Am I gonna scar them for life? You're not gonna scar them for life. My kid, she's scared of everything. She wants to go see this because I think she knew that this was gonna be a kid-friendly type thing. All the jump scares, and this is that the movie is very much built around these jump scares,
which is like the
rather
game.
than it being a gory. Yeah. I need to play the games. I'm actually, I think I'm gonna get the games and go through them. Now that I've seen the movie, I want to get see where it comes from. Yeah.
Should we? Here's an idea. If they're meant to be like sort of jump scary games, perhaps if you next come over to the UK, perhaps if we should do them as a group effort.
Maybe
that'd be cool.
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe I will put it off then, and fucking wait.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to get at is, I don't think the parents should be that worried about. I talked to one of my bandmates, and his kid really wanted to go watch it as well. And I talked to him after me and my daughter went and watched the movie at the cinema, and I told him what it was like, because he was like, "What? How was the movie?" And I said, like I've said here, it's a kids horror. He was like, "Oh, okay," because she wanted to go watch it on Halloween, and on Halloween night, but they backed out because they were, oh no, what if it's too much? I wouldn't be worried about that, to be honest, unless you have a kid that's like has mental issues or really is afraid of the dark and needs a lamp lit at night and stuff like that.
Oh bless.
Yeah.
I think
other than that, you should be good to go.
I think in America it's got a PG rating, parental guidance rating, I think, or equivalent of. But in the UK, there's a bit of controversy because people have been mocking the rating. It's been rated as a 15. Which means minimum age of 50. People like a lot of people say like that's a bit overrated. It should be like because our next one down is like PG-13, which is like you can watch if you're over 13, or you can watch if you're a parent below 13, and that's what most people say it should have been.
Yeah, maybe I can kind of see where they're coming from, because when are kids developed enough to kind of because there are kids out there that are underdeveloped mentally or whatever, that can't really, get around, oh no, this isn't real type thing.
Yeah.
So they have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
Had they set it at 13, there'd probably be a bunch of people be like, oh no, why should 13? It should be 15.
I think 15 is definitely err on the side of caution, because I think most, unless you've got really strict parents, I think most kids have been watching films far over the rating that they're meant to be watching before they actually watch them. I mean, I was watching like 18 rated films when I was like 10, 11. And I'm sure you were similar.
Was that with a parent?
God, no. No, they weren't worried. My first 18 rated film I watched would have been the original Alien.
Yes.
And then Alien.
The first one or the second one?
First one. I still think the first one's a better film. I like Aliens.
Yeah.
But I much prefer. I think Aliens. They're very different films. Alien is a horror film. Aliens is an action film, in my opinion.
Yeah, it has a hint of the horror side of it.
Aliens is basically futuristic Vietnam film.
When did you see that? Like, how old were you?
I was about 9 or 10.
Aliens, the second one.
I watched them both
7 years old, I think.
7 years old.
7 or 8, yeah.
See, I would say Aliens is less horrific and scary than the first one.
Yeah.
I'm very much of when gore is over the top, it doesn't faze me. No. It's when gore is realistic that gets to me. I'm not a great fan of horror films in general. I don't like horror films in general. Mainly because I find a lot of horror tropes don't work on me. when I'm watching a film. So a lot of like sort of like suspense building up and stuff. It's like, that doesn't bother me. Jump scares annoy me than anything else. I don't like jump scares because they just annoy me because they feel cheap.
Tend to not react on them at all. Like it just, what was that? Like,
well, most time you see the jump scare coming most of the time.
Yeah.
I quite like psychological horror. I actually find implied horror more effective on me. Letting your imagination do the work for you. I find that more effective than non-implied horror. So in your example of like Saw films where you see everything, that probably wouldn't bother me very much. But if it's implied what's going to happen, that freaks me out more because my brain can do a far better job of creating the sort of the gruesomeness in its head a lot easier. So I find implied horror works for me better than
if the visuals are good enough, and that I think that's really a problem with a lot of the movies in the horror genre, is that if the visuals are bad, obviously you won't react to it. It's like, this is so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But if it's done really, really well and a lot of thought has been put into the visuals, I tend to find that really, like, I react better on that. Yeah. I don't get scared though. I never really do.
That was going to be my next question. Carry on. That's all. Carry on.
Yeah, I never really do get scared when I think like over the last 10, 15 years, I think I've gotten like one jump scare ever. And I think that was in the movies. We were in the movies watching the second of the Conjuring movies. We watched that in the movies, and there's like a scene where they're up top on the first floor out in the hallway, and all of it, they go toward a tent that's set up out in the hallway, and then all of a sudden you hear a knock, like, like that. Oh shit! But yeah, that actually, because you couldn't see that coming. That came out of nowhere. I don't know if it caught up. You could hear the knocking, but yeah.
I heard it, so I don't know. I'm sure your microphone picked up somewhat. I must say, I think horror films go one of two ways. They either go to gruesome horror, where it's not really trying to be scary, it's just meant to be like gory and horrible, and there's actual scary horror.
Yeah.
And I say, the gory stuff doesn't particularly bother me. It used to, when I was younger, it used to bother me because I used to find it sickening, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. It's just like, particularly when it's over the top and when it's over the top and it's so obviously that's not possible, that doesn't bother me because that's clearly fake. It's when it's still like there's a bit in the last Witcher season 2 where she basically there's a witch. She basically paralyzes a load of people. They drink something that basically paralyzes them, so they're conscious, but they can't move. And she goes up to one of them, and she basically stabs one person slowly through the eye, and he can't. He can't blink, can't do anything. She stabs through the eye. That I found really good because that looks so real. Yeah. It wasn't over the top goriness, so it didn't bother me. When it's just like blood, when it's like what I call cartoony horror, where it's like OTT blood and guts and stuff, it's like, that's just a cartoon. It's like Ren and Stimpy, from The Simpsons. It's so over the top, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
it's like the instant all takes me out of it. Like I say, psychological is where it hits for me. Psychological is a far better thing. I do also find
I think so too with me. If I have to, then the psychological stuff it hits me. If it does, hit me just a wee bit, that would be it.
I find also that same is true in computer games as well. Psychological computer games, which use psychological horror, work on me far more. I quite like, despite if I'm not a great fan of horror films, I quite like horror games, as we discussed last podcast. I quite like horror games. In fact, the game we'll be talking about this evening is a horror game. And most of the horror games I like generally rely a lot on psychological horror over or like sort of like making you feel powerless and stuff. There's only been one game which we discussed last time, which was Soma, that I played it till wee hours in the morning. I then had to go outside my house to get some stuff in from our garage, like sort of 2 in the morning. And as I walked outside, all of a sudden, I suddenly felt, I don't like this. That had actually grained its way into my head because there's like some horrific creature chasing you around, and now I'm outside. It's like, it's in the dark. This is where it can see me. And all of a sudden, my brain was like, you got to be careful. Don't stay out here too long because that horrific creature might come and get you. That's like the first. That's the first and only game that's actually got right into me psychologically to the point where I can't switch off from it.
There's a game I played it on stream way back, and I know there was a sequel of it. I just can't remember the name. You're in you're trapped inside like a mental asylum, and you have your video camera with you. Or something like
Outlast.
Have you played that one?
Right, me and Skaz, we let's played this for Halloween. It's actually on the YouTube. It's actually on our channel. Both me and Skaz hated it.
Why?
I didn't find it scary at all.
Okay.
I actually found it frustrating. I was more frustrated because every time I tried to do something, it's like, oh no, you can't get the key. No, I've got to do this. It frustrated me more than anything. The main sort of like horror guy, the monster annoyed me more than more scared me. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's back. Oh, now I've got photos. And what I really disliked about it was the fact that the game never really changed its color palette. Every level looked identical. The same drab, brown sort of look. It all looked identical. And both me and Skaz agreed afterwards, like, I don't know why this game was so popular. It's just so many games that do it a lot better than it. It's just, it's so, I found it, we managed to finish it more because that we were halfway through it. The only bit that I liked in that game was the bit where there's that mad doctor who like cuts all your fingers off. That is the only that
you have to hide underneath the beds and whatnot.
Yeah, that was the good bit of the game. That was like the only good bit of the game. Because the other characters, top of horror games in general, the big issue of horror games is the monsters, especially like these sort of like survival horror games where, and when I say survival horror, I generally mean games where you can't fight back. Your only choice is to hide or use your skill to get around things. Yeah. Whereas I know Star Wars is a bit more considered broader than that, but I wouldn't consider like a Resident Evil game a survival horror game. I wouldn't consider them because they're too action focused to my thinking. But you know, everybody's got their opinion.
You talk about the Resident Evil games?
Yeah, I don't consider them particularly survival horror.
I think the old ones, like the like Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3, the old ones, especially the second one, I thought those were more horror oriented than the newer stuff, where you were in third person and shooting and whatnot. It became more of a third person shooter type thing.
Yeah, those shooters, they were horror shooters more than anything else. Yeah. Basically, for me, a horror game has got you're facing against something that you can't defeat, and you have to just avoid it.
Like Phasmophobia.
Like Phasmophobia. Oh, you can defeat but you can sort of defeat the ghosts in Phasmophobia, but not quite.
Yeah.
But
that was a game that actually hit me. Like Phasmophobia, I got the chills from playing that. I think it was something about the atmosphere of it and all that really like hit me.
If you like Phasmophobia, we should play at some point Forewarned. Which
you and Skaz already played that, didn't you?
We did play that, but I think if you liked Phasmophobia, you'd like Forewarned as well.
No, okay. Let me let me just say, it's not like I liked Phasmophobia because it actually creeped me out a little bit to the extent that I did like when we did the VR version of that. I was like, no, fuck this shit. I'm not doing that. That was creepy. I remember when we started playing that, I was in this like we lived in a house. And my office was in a cellar.
Oh yeah.
No. Just no.
Oh, so I can't convince you on Forewarned. Fair enough.
You can try and convince me, just not yet.
Go back and watch our videos on Forewarned on the channel, and you'll see what we are up to.
Okay.
But going back to what I was saying, I find any game where you're like sort of trying to avoid the monster and hide from it and so forth, the monster in the game is scary right up to the point that catches you for the first time.
Yeah.
Because the threat of what it's going to do to you is far more effective than actually getting caught by it. Once you've got caught by it, you know what the problem, you know what's going to happen, and
exactly.
you know what's going to happen in advance, but you know what's going to happen. It's like, oh, I guess I just reload now, and the fear drops off dramatically. And the only sort of games I sort of found that sort of avoided that, which is why I still think that the pinnacle of these horror games, these sort of avoid the monster horror games, is Soma, because each level, the monster's different. How it attacks you, how it follows you, how it looks for you is completely different. Whereas in most horror games, you'll be facing the same monsters like every level, and perhaps you'll get a level or something different. Amnesia: The Dark Descent has a fantastic sequence, which is really effective, where you are like in this underwater, like in this basement, and it's half flooded, and the monsters live in the water. They live in the water, but they're invisible, so you can only see them when they're moving. Do you remember we played the Devouring last year, and those bits where in the water where the monsters were invisible and they were following you around? That's basically exactly copied from Amnesia: Dark Descent. That's exactly copied from them. Exactly how it works. Right. So you can see where the monsters are, and you can see them following around, and when you can see where they stop, and you know where they are when they stop, but you can't see them themselves. That's really effective because you have to sort of like avoid them and get past them. Knowing where they are, but not knowing where they are, that works really well. But yeah, that's why I say any game where you actually get caught by monsters, that's all it loses its effectiveness a bit. But overall, I much prefer games where you have to run and hide and sort of escape things, which probably nicely pulls on to what I've been playing. And I've been playing, because I told you about Soma and Amnesia, both developed by a company called Frictional Games. But Amnesia probably the game that they were most well known for, like sort of put them sort of on the sort of like more mainstream map. But the game that sort of set them going was a series of game called Penumbra. And I only learned today what Penumbra means. It's when you have an object cast a shadow, there's like the bit at the edge which is like shaded, where the shadow like meets things. That's a Penumbra.
All right.
I probably pronounced it wrong. And I've been playing.
I don't think you are.
Yeah. But Penumbra, I've been playing Penumbra Overture, which was an episodic game, but each episode was released by itself standalone. And I think the first game actually is in like 5 parts, stuff like that. And this is like their first sort of foray into sort of like horror and sort of like games. So I've gone back and sort of played like their original horror game. And it's basically exactly what I said. It's different to their later games in that you can fight back. The monsters you encounter can fight back. But it has all those similar tropes. So one of the things that makes the Amnesia series of games and the Soma series of games work is how you interact with the world. So everything is done with mouse gestures. So for example, if you want to open the drawer, you have to sort of like aim your mouse over the drawer, click the button which basically grabs it, and then you have to pull the mouse back to open the drawer up. Bit like how VR games work before VR was a thing, because these are all pre-VR. So the same sort of interaction, we have to sort of open the drawer, each drawer up individually. Same with doors, so you have to click with the mouse and pull the door open towards you, the mouse button, or close it, or you can slam it behind you and close it. Valves, valve wheels don't work very well, where you have to like turn something, rotate it 90 degrees. That doesn't work with a mouse very well, because you have to sort of like, it's very hard to sort of get for it to pick up the motion right. They actually improve in later games. So you interact with the world in a very tactile way. Okay, it's basically a VR interaction prior to VR being a thing. So it works very similar, and it works really nicely when you're doing that sort of tactile feel and so forth, and it feels like as you open up drawers and stuff and pull things out of drawers and interact with stuff, it makes it feel nice. And when you pick up objects and stuff, you have to move them around, and like say there's a power cable, you have to pick it up with the mouse and drag it to the receptacle to plug it in to get the power flowing and so forth. It feels really nice. Some of the things that the game does do, which they sort of dropped off later on, was there's like a button you can press that like sort of like picks up sort of text from the object, a bit like you do in old style like point and click games. It'll give you like a text description of the object, what it is, which feels very old school. They sort of drop that later on. But it's that sort of interaction is neat. It works well. Apart from where it doesn't work particularly well is in combat. So to swing your weapon, so the first weapon you'll pick up is like a hammer. You then pick up a pickaxe. To swing it, you basically have to click and hold the mouse, then drag the mouse at an angle to like sort of pull your arm up, and then swing it back down with the mouse to sort of strike. That's very clunky. It's very because trouble what is clunky is whatever position your reticle, your cursor is in, your like center point in, that basically locks at that angle as you're dragging it up. So if you're at the wrong angle to strike something, you're going to miss it because you can't adjust your angle, which is obvious because it can't accept both inputs at once. Yeah. You can't adjust your angle to strike things, so you have to almost fighting creatures is really difficult because you have to sort of like first aim to where they're going to be and then click and hold, then pull back to get position, then to strike. So the only time where I've been actually successful fighting things is when I've been able to like get a position where they can't get me, but I can get them. So there's like these like mutant dogs who got glowing eyes who chase you about. And if I can get on top of a box so they can't reach me, I can basically position my aims on the right place and like strike them as they jump up at me and hit them. That's the only sort of way to fight back. And there are other monsters in it as well. And that feels very clunky, which I can understand why they dropped it for later editions, because it just doesn't work. It feels clunky. It doesn't work very well. You can't react very well quick it, so it doesn't work at all. The general sort of storyline is you are you're a British chap actually. You basically get a letter from your father after he's died. It's all that comes to you, and it basically leads you to like a PO box that's got a map and some coordinates in it, and you follow the map. It takes you to like this place in I think it's Norway. It takes you to a place in Norway, which is like you find yourself in like an underground bunker / mine that you have to sort of like work your way through. And you don't know why you're there, you don't know why anything else is there, but you know your father's there. There's some strange sort of things you find in the mine, like it's applied very early on, they're alien artifacts quite early on. And you have to sneak away through the mine. And all the puzzle, and it's almost like a puzzle game. Every sort of like level there'll be a puzzle to solve to get to the next stage. So the first level, there is to get to the next part of the mine, you need to blow a hole and like blow some rocks apart. So you need to basically go around and get the parts to make some blasts, like some TNT and some gunpowder to make a fuse, to basically set up a barrel to blow up this part of the mine. So you have to go to each of these different sections. There's also the game that they decided to put spiders in it as one of the enemies, which I really hate spiders. I don't like spiders at all. I don't like spiders in horror games, in films. I don't like them. I used to hate fighting them in Oblivion, in Skyrim. Skyrim, I used to hate fighting them in. I don't like spiders. As you know, Zaber, from playing Hunt Showdown with me, how much I appreciate spiders.
So you're not going to be seeing the new remake of the Arachnophobia movie, yeah?
No. Oh. No, that's not. I've watched 8-Legged Freaks.
Yeah?
I've watched that film, but I'm not.
That's more fun though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not really. That's your kitty horror again, isn't it? Really?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or comedy horror, I'd say.
Yeah, that's probably closer to my tolerance level than when it comes to spiders. I'm not great with spiders at all. I don't want them to exist. I just don't want them near me at any point in time. So the first bit, sort of like it's almost been like sort of sections where you have like one big main hub map. At least the bits I've played so far. I'm probably about sort of like 3/4 way through it now. There's like a hub map, and then this will have like little side bits you go off from. And there's like there was like all the chapters of the game, basically. I feel like it's all the chapters of the game.
All right.
And I'm in you know, sort of hub map, and there's one bit where you go and like you go down like underneath like sort of one of the rooms, and it's like, oh, there's like big tunnels here, and there's loads of big spider webs here. I wonder what could have dug them. And you have to sort of sneak around. That took me ages to get through because I was literally like sort of like slowly crawling through because I really didn't want to face any spiders. And it's all a freak out. Spoilers ahead. There's no spiders in the first bit. You go in their tunnels, but you don't actually encounter any of them. You hear them walking about, you hear them making noises, but you never meet any of them. You do in the next bit, and they're fucking awful. But again, once they kill you once, you don't worry about them anymore because you just like they just annoy you more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having a good time. I like this because I like stealth games as well. I like sneaking about and being sort of like, or I like stealth games where you feel both powerful and powerless at the same time. So like you're this person who can really at any point do an awful lot of damage to somebody and take him out. But if the table quickly turns, you're doomed. You can't fight. You can't really sort of put up with a fight. You're a bit of a glass cannon. You can't put up a fight. You can't fight back. So I like those style stealth games, and sort of the Penumbra / Amnesia / Soma games scratch that itch because they've got the horror element plus the sort of stealth element of them as well. And the stealth's fairly straightforward. So stealth works by you can crouch, and what it's still like nice little features is if you stay still, you'll go like sort of slip into the shadows, and you'll get basically like night vision. It'll like brighten up so you can see clearer. You'll get sort of this blue effect around the edge of the screen to let you know when you're in this mode. What's interesting though is if you stare at the monsters too much, your character will start to panic. And if he stares too long, he'll eventually panic and he'll run. So you mustn't stare directly at the monsters. You have to sort of like give them a sideways glance to keep an eye on them. Yeah.
Are you eyeballing me?
Yeah, it's like that. But yeah, you do, and there's and each level's it's quite neat. I like the fact that you have to like sort of like there's a lot of the game doesn't hold your hand too much. So for example, there's a bit where you come across a generator and you have to get the generator going, and to know how to do it, you have to find like documents and stuff which explain like this is the process you need to do to start this up. So you have to learn, you have to work out what it does. So it's not like, oh, here's this button, there's this button, there's this button. It's like, okay, I need to do this sequence of things to start this up. I need to make sure I interpret this correctly and do it properly to make it work. I actually am really enjoying it. I've been streaming it on my Twitch channel. You get to see me get very panicky over spiders. So check out twitch.tv/thesuffolkgram if you want to see me stream it. It's been, and I basically wanted to play it. I played it over Halloween. I started playing it, and I played some more today. It's it's very, very neat. I can see where they took the lessons learned from this and changed them in Amnesia. So they changed how you interact with things a bit better. The sanity mechanic gets built on a lot more in Amnesia. They build on sanity's got like a more basically affects you a lot more in Amnesia than it does in this game, and like the interactions have changed a lot more as well. But yeah, it's a very, very neat, fun little game, and it's the first one's apparently about 6 hours long. Although I've played about 4 hours so far, and I'm now on like chapter 3 of 5. But there's another 4 in the series that are all similar length, so it's actually about a 20-hour long game in total. So yeah, a really neat little game.
Cool. So from everything we've talked about tonight, I have like 3 questions.
Go for it.
All right. Oh, what were they?
Well, you tell me.
So you said something about stealth games, yeah?
Yes.
Have you ever tried the Splinter Cell games?
I don't like the Splinter Cell games. These are the ones I've played.
All right.
My issue with Splinter Cell games is they're too linear.
Yeah.
And it feels like the stealth, and it feels like you must do this bit here. When I went to play, I played Splinter Cell after coming from playing games like Thief and Deus Ex. Yeah. And those games, stealth is very freeform. It's like, here's this building, do what you want. Figure out how to get in it by yourself. Further get the guys. It basically lets you do your own thing. And from going from those really open methods of stealth to playing Splinter Cell felt like a massive downgrade. It felt like, oh, it's just a series of rooms.
So what about the Hitman games?
I love the Hitman games.
Did you know that the original Hitman game, I think the first 2 or 3, I can't remember, but they were actually made in Denmark, dude. They were made by Danish people.
Do you know what? I thought they were still in that area. I thought it was still being made in that area. I thought they were like sort of like I knew they were sort of like.
I think they sold it off. I think they sold off the company for it. But yeah, it was on a Danish team that made the first ones. I can't remember how far into the series they got before they sold it off.
Probably, I have a feeling because you had Hitman 2. Then there was
Blood Money.
So Hitman was more action focused from what I remember, less stealth focused. Hitman 2 is like where they sort of found the formula. Blood Money was like probably one of the classic Hitmans was my favourite. Because you just do so many ways of doing things. Then it was Hitman Absolution where the series sort of like trailed off, and then it got rebooted as Hitman 1, 2, and 3.
I haven't played them all.
Have you played the newer ones?
I think I played up until Blood Money, and then they made the whole season 1, season 2 thing, the new ones.
You must play the new ones.
I think I played the first one of those, not all the way through though.
I love the newer. They're the sort of game that they're one of the few games I'll go back and I'll play the levels again and again. I'm not good enough.
The thing is, there's a lot of replay value in a game like that.
Oh, who's mount?
Because you can kill people off in so many ways. You can finish the mission in so many ways, and that's what I love the most about games like that. Because you have a choice. It's not like you have to do it this way, and if you don't, game over.
It's such a sandbox.
And even if you fuck up, you can still get away, or die. I mean, there's so many ways things can go sideways.
It's such a sandbox game. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Yeah. I say I love the Hitman series. I love all the newer ones. I've loved every single one of them. The levels are beautiful as well. Those levels should be architects because each level is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
and
the attention to detail.
This is fantastic. I think the only thing that lets Hitman 3 down is the very last level, which is set on a train. That is basically a shooter set level. There's no real stealth involved in that. But the other, up until that point, the rest are all utterly fantastic. They're all enjoyable. I will say I probably enjoyed, of the new Hitmans, I think I enjoyed probably Hitman 2 the best out of the 3. I enjoyed Hitman 3, but I didn't quite like it as much as 1 or 2. But it's and it's because they've got those like sort of like they've also got you can obviously just do it fully sandbox your own way, but you can also then go back and do like there's like building story missions, like sort of like call them. There's like pre-written like sort of scripts ways to kill people that are quite inventive, like seeing somebody in like there's one way you can work them out for yourself if you want, or you can follow like the in-game will give you like a set of blueprints to work your way through it. And some which some of them are time based as well. If you don't do them quick enough, you'll run out of time to do them. That's what I quite like. I mean, I set fire to a guy with his sports car. Basically, he put some unstable fuel in it, and he went to fill the engine and got set on fire and killed him. Marvelous. No, I love the Hitman games.
I might have to go back and try them again because I didn't play through them all. So I might have to do that at some point.
Yeah,
when I have the time.
Yeah, they are sort of game where it's like, okay, I'm gonna play a level Hitman. I need to set aside like 2 hours to do this.
Yeah,
because I as a rule, I play a level and I finish it. I won't go halfway through a level. I play and I finish it. I don't like doing half and half and coming back to it.
Yeah.
And what was your last question?
It was because you mentioned The Witcher, yeah, and there's a lot of talk going on right now. So I want to, get, just quickly touch upon this.
Mm-hmm.
So since you mentioned Witcher season 2, I'm guessing you've seen Witcher season 1, 2, and 3, yeah?
I've not watched season 3. No.
Oh, dude, you gotta.
I'll be absolutely
It's
honest with you, but I completely lost track of what was going on in Witcher season 2.
yes.
It's very complicated.
It is, and it's they kind of like tied a little more together, I think, in season 3. I think it was better made season 3 than season 2.
Now remind me, isn't season 3 the last one with Henry Cavell, or was that
yes, and that's what I wanted to touch upon, because what's your thought on that? Because Henry Cavill, with the disagreements he had with the way they were taking, because he was such a big fan to the original. Now that he's left the show, we have baby boy Liam Hemsworth taking over the role as the lead role as Gerald. What's he called?
Geralt? Geralt.
Yeah, Gerald.
Geralt
Yeah.
of Riva, I think he is.
What's your thoughts on that? Because so the thing is, I've been seeing these posts on social media. Was like, oh my god, season 4, it's gonna be shooting soon, with the Liam in as the lead, and all the comments are like, fuck this. The show ends with season 3. What are your thoughts?
So I'm a great fan of Henry Cavill. I've got mixed
Mm-hmm.
emotions about this. I like the fact that I think I like Henry Cavill because he's clearly, he's sort of one of us. That he's a bit of a nerd. He's like, I like the source, so I'm going to stick to it. And if you do that, I'm actually going to just sort of walk away. I like that about the fact that he's prepared to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see. I also think he played Geralt perfectly. I think he was the exact right, proper choice for that character. He does it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
The main reason I'm not too worried about him leaving is because Henry Cavill, what he's doing instead, from what the rumours are, is he's also a big fan of Warhammer 40k, which is a game that I absolutely adore. I love. We've obviously played games in Warhammer universe, but Warhammer 40k is their sci-fi version.
Yeah.
And there's been rumours there's going to be a Warhammer adaptation of a book called the Eisenhorn series of books. They're books set in the Warhammer 40k world, and there's rumours that Henry Cavill is now involved with the adaptation of these books. So so I love Warhammer. I like Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill plays Warhammer. He collects art. He collects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he actually buys the armies and plays them. He's going to be playing. I don't know if he's going to be. He's probably too young to play Eisenhorn because Eisenhorn's quite an old character, but he might still get away with it. But the fact that he's involved with Warhammer TV series makes me very excited. So yes, he's left Witcher, but I'm very excited for what he's going to do instead.
Well, so my thoughts, because he's also doing, there's a reboot of Highlander, the Highlander movies where he's gonna be, fighting with swords and shit like that again. I'm very much looking forward to that. But in terms of the Witcher series, is it dead? Like, is that series dead now with the third season?
I think it will die now because I don't. It's never been that well received. I don't think. I think. I actually like. I know people weren't keen on season 1. I actually quite like season 1. I know it jumped around a bit, sort of time wise, but I quite like that because it was obviously setting up several series of stories all together to put them all together. Season 2, I think because we had such a time jump from watching season 1 to season 2, I lost track of what most of the plot points were, and I struggled to follow it, if I'm honest. Season 3 I've not watched. What I actually would like is what I feel I prefer about season 1 a bit more, where the Witcher stuff was more like a old school style series where you had like what they call Monster of the Week. But there's like a bit of the main story background in it as well. There'll be a few episodes revolving around the sort of main overarching plot. But there was also episodes in between where they just dealt with what was happening that week. Like how old school X-Files used to do it. There was like a big overarching plot, but most of the episodes were like standalone monsters of the week. You didn't need to watch it. I actually would like to Witcher more like that, where he's coming across, because there's such a vast wealth of monsters he could face. The fact if each episode he's having to face a different one, that'd be, I think, an interesting story. Then occasionally there'd be a little bit of the background of the story, which they did a little bit in season 2. They did a bit in season 1. That I think I'd have enjoyed more. But I found the whole, to be honest, I lost track of most of the plot line. It's the simple answer. I lost track of it, and I didn't know what was going on. And yeah, that's all I saw. So I do think Richard probably they'll make a 4th season, but I think they'll probably be the last season. I just don't. I
agree.
I think the fan base is quite small for what it is, and the fan base.
I don't necessarily agree that the fan base is small. Had it been too small, I don't think they would have renewed it for seasons 2, 3, or 4 for that matter. But
I
with that said, though,
I don't think there are a lot of people watching The Witcher who haven't played the games or read the books. I don't think it's not got that appeal outside people who would play the games. I don't know many people who do that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine average Joe on Netflix watching it. They put it that way.
I mean, personally, for me, I haven't really played all the games. I like the show a hell of a lot. Huge Henry Cavell fan. I love what he does. Was sad when he got booted as Superman. Because I think that was one of the guys that was really good for the DC franchise. But this happening too is for me personally. I'm not gonna watch season 4, season 3. That's where it ends for me. I agree with you. Season 1 of The Witcher was amazing. I think that was still one of the best the best ones, to be honest, out of all 3, for me personally. But season 3, well worth the watch, dude. You gotta watch it. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, we'll get
ties up some more things and whatnot. It's pretty good. You gotta watch it.
Well, I'll give it a look. We tend to watch because The Witcher, believe it or not, because my family, most of my family are also into gaming, which is unusual for a lot of people. My mother loves The Witcher. She's in her 60s and she loves playing The Witcher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's we saw. Yeah, so I've not played a Witcher. I know a lot of the backstory of The Witcher because I've looked it up on wiki stuff, but I've not actually played in the games. But I know a lot of the backstory in bits and pieces, so I'm watching. But my mother and sister have played, I think, Witcher 2, and the big one was Wild. Was it Wild Hunt number 4? I think it is number 3 or 4, something like that. They've played
3, I think. Was
3?
It 3? I can't remember.
3 is like the big one, isn't it? 3 was like the one that everybody's like, "This is amazing." They've played that. They've played that all the way through, and so they're really into Witcher lore and stuff. So they really like the game.
Do you have to have played like the other ones? Like that, you can't just jump into the third one. You have to have played 1 and 2 before you play the third or the fourth.
I don't think they had any trouble with it. I know they definitely didn't play number 1. 100% didn't play number 1. I think they've played number 2, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They definitely played number 3 because that lasted for months. Because as much as my mother loves playing these sort of games, she's very bad at them. So it takes her months to get through them.
That's the politically correct way to say it, isn't it?
Yeah. So she gets her money worth out of them. They put it that way. Yeah. So yeah, but so I know they're the ones who push us to watch The Witcher. So we watch as a family group on like a Saturday. We all meet up and we all go and we all sit around TV and that's what the games watch up. We're currently watching through Loki on Disney at the moment because it's the new season of Loki.
I haven't seen that. Yeah,
Loki's very good. I'm not a big fan of superhero films, movies, that sort of stuff. I'm not a great fan of them, in general. But I've enjoyed a few because there's been Disney obviously doing this thing where they're making lots of like sort of short series based on side characters, or even main characters, and we've watched most of them. And I find myself enjoying a lot of them. I find them quite enjoyable. Not all of them. They've done the same obviously with Star Wars. That I found a bit more less limiting. I like the Mandalorian. I liked.
I'm actually watching that right now, The Mandalorian.
I like the Mandalorian.
I've put it off for like forever. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but that one, oh my god, I like that one.
Yeah, that's really good. It's basically a story. I love that it's basically a story about being a single father. It's marvelous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that Mandalorian. I liked Andor. Is it Andor? Yes.
Andor?
Is it Andor? I think it's Andor. Is it Andor?
Is it a Star Wars show?
Yeah, it's Star Wars. Yeah.
They had
Andor.
They had Obi-Wan. They had.
Didn't like Obi-Wan. I thought Obi-Wan wasn't that great, if I'm honest.
All right. And they have the new one, Ashoka.
Andor is basically more like a spy drama set in sci-fi. So basically, it's based around a character who turns up in one of the films. Mm-hmm. He actually dies in the film, but he basically delivers the blueprints for the Death Star, so the rebels can destroy it. He's the one who gets the blueprints. Andor is based around him, like before it happens. Obviously before it happens because he's dead. But it's more like a spy one. And what I really like about Andor, makes Andor really good, and this is one of my sort of criticisms of Star Wars media in general, is they overuse the Jedi.
Yeah.
What that means is Jedi are meant to be quite rare in Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be a common thing you find. So you shouldn't come across them very often. Most people should never meet one in Star Wars. If you go by all the logic of how Star Wars works, most people in the storyline, they're basically non-existent. Mm-hmm. So they shouldn't really. So most people won't meet them. So, but the trouble is, I found that a lot of the Star Wars stories all being based on the Jedi. It's like, well, we've seen all about the Jedi. They're really well explored. Explore something different. And Andor has no Jedi in it at all. It's about this guy. That's why I think it works really well. It's a very slow-paced series. It's not an action series, really. It's more a political drama / spy thriller series.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
If you like, it's completely different to all the other ones, and it's probably, I would say, after Mandalorian, it's probably the best of the Star Wars spin-off TV series I think they've made.
All right.
So
I need to check that one out.
Yeah, it's really good. That's really good. Mandalorian, I really like. Mandalorian's got sort of like memories of me because we watched Mandalorian through the first COVID lockdown in the UK.
Okay.
Just after COVID lockdown happened, we used to watch that every sort of weekend. We watched a couple episodes of The Mandalorian through that first lockdown, so it's got like really rooted in memory. But if you've not watched Andor, you really should watch Andor. It's really, really good. It's a slow-paced series, but it works really. It builds up so well.
I'll give it a shot.
I'll
give it a shot.
Yeah. So good.
All right, dude.
Oh. Right. Was there anything else you'd like to discuss, Zaber, before we start to wrap up?
No, I think that was it. For me, that was it. I haven't played any games over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Been watching a hell of a lot of battle bots.
Battle bots.
Battle bots. I love that kind of stuff, dude. I'm a big sucker for it. And my daughter, she's very much into it as well. So
cool.
We've been watching that together. So the cool thing about watching it with my daughter is watching it with my daughter.
Yeah.
The sucky thing about watching it with my daughter is when she's not here, I have to wait until she's back again before I can continue watching it. But yeah, it's been good fun. I love that kind of stuff.
I've never watched BattleBots. I have seen Robot Wars, which is the British version of BattleBots. That's they that was back in the 90s that came out, and then they did reboot it a few years ago.
I think the season we're watching now is from 2021.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more newer battle bots. Not newer, but it's more recent competitions in it. So,
it's really awesome. Like the amount of effort people put into building these bots just to put them in an arena to have it go whack-a-mole with some other robot. It's insane, dude. And you see these robots, they weigh about 250 pounds?
Yeah,
and
quite
they get
heavy.
Launched 20 feet up in the air sometimes. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's clever stuff. Has it inclined any sort of like kindled any interest in like doing it yourself?
Oh, if I had the funds and the know-how, I'd do it. I'd fucking do it, dude. I'd do it. I'd be all in. But yeah, you need sponsors. You need all these kind of things. You need the know-how. I don't know how to weld. I mean, the technical aspects, probably I could probably work around that. But building the actual bot, being able to weld and cut iron and fucking doing all that shit.
I don't think they're made of iron anymore.
No, but you know what I mean, But actually designing the thing.
This robot is forged. It's not welded together. It's forged out of one single plate of iron.
Exactly. We threw things in this bowl, and out came a robot.
Yeah, we have a crucible in our workshop to forge the new unit of it. It can't move very fast, but nothing's ever going to flip it.
Exactly, ever. It's welding. They're building a bot that welds itself to the ground, so it can't be flipped. Be like, come at me, brah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested. Do they do a lot? Because I've always wanted this. I think there might be a rule against it. Is there a lot of like automation put into things like? Because also I know when I first watched Robot Wars years ago, everything was like remote controlled. So like your flipper only goes with things. So you can't like say, oh, I'll put a sensor there that it's just a text of it just flips automatically. They can't do that sort of thing.
I think they can, because there was a bot a few seasons before the one I'm watching now. There was a bot called Chomp, I think it was. It had a sensor in it, so it could detect motion from the other bot, so it would just change the direction toward the bot all the time. So if that's allowed, I'm fairly sure other stuff like that with sensors are allowed. The problem with sensors are that when you get punched in the face by something that spins a blade at 50 pounds at 250 miles an hour in your face, sensors tend to not work no more. So building a bot relying solely on sensors is probably a dumb idea.
I can imagine someone doing it with a manual override and the manual control of it as well, but I can see someone do it as if the sensors doesn't go off, I can push a button, it will do it anyway type situation. I can see that happening.
So from what I've seen in all the seasons I've seen so far of this of the battle bots, it's not only how the bot is. Like the bot is like 40% of the fight. You have the best well-made bot, but if you don't have the best driver,
it's the skill.
You won't win. You won't win.
Yeah.
Like it's the driving skills is what matters in this. So relying on sensors again won't make for a good driving experience.
Oh no, but I see it more as an enhancement rather than a replacement.
Yeah. I mean,
they'd be cool, given how much computer processing power and how compact it is now and how much more advanced it is. They would be cool if there was a version where the bots were like almost like just like putting them switched on left to their own devices. No, like human interaction. They're just literally like AI, and off they go. And let's find out. It's all well and good.
Break out of the battle box and start hammering on people.
Yeah. All well and good until they turn their human creators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just went all Skynet on people.
Yeah. You gave us these weapons. Now we're going to enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. Out of the way, dumb humans.
Oh. Well, there's nothing else. I think we should wrap this one up, don't you?
I think we should.
Oh, fantastic. So,
And if you guys made it this far, you
Thank
are
you.
champs.
well,
We thank you so much for paying attention and keeping up with the episode and watching it this far. You are an absolute champ. And we do apologize for the piss poor audio of this season. And we apologize even more for the season for the episode before this, because that was absolutely
it was
atrocious.
shit. The audio is crap
Yeah,
on both our parts.
Think the audio is going to be, on my end at least, it's going to be a little better this time. Next time it should be a lot better. Getting a new microphone home so I can use that. So
That'll be cool. Hopefully,
yes.
I've made some changes, so hopefully mine will be a bit better as well. So if not, I'll do a bit more editing this time. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. As echoing Zaber's comments. If you'd like to join us on our next podcast, which will be on he says getting the date up because he can't remember, the 23rd of November.
Exactly.
Exactly the 23rd. What?
At 6:30 UK time.
Yes.
What is that? GMT.
GMT. 6:30 GMT. On the 23rd of November, episode 231. Come join us for that. You can check out our website, randnerds.co.uk. You can check us out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/randnerds, streaming on twitch.tv/randnerds. You can also check out our games night, which will be on the 22nd of November at approximately 8:30 GMT, where we are playing through a little campaign for the King, which I'm really enjoying, and I would like to at least get one campaign done. That'd be really cool.
Yes.
So check us out.
It's a good game.
It's a good game. Check us out for that. So until then, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And Zaber says bye. Bye now.
Bye.